Hello, and welcome back to the SLC Voice Podcast, a podcast by students for students. I'm Brian, and today we are going to be doing an interview with Karen McAlpine, who is the CRO in the upcoming 2021-2022 by-election for the SLC Board of Directors. Joining me today, though, is our podcast manager, Uji, and one of our newer podcast hosts, Drishti. How are you ladies doing today?
Very well, thank you. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you.
And Karen McAlpine is coming to us from Owen Sound, and he is in the Wind Turbine Technician program, and he's also been accepted to take on the role of the CRO. So he's the one to me handling a lot of the technical details about the CRO role for this upcoming by-election. How are you doing today, Karen?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I think like most people, we're recording this right before midterms, so a little bit stressed, but you know what? We're going to make it through. That's part of the process.
Absolutely.
So, Karen, just tell us about yourself a little bit, man. What's your favorite hobby for us?
Well, I really enjoy the outdoors. I do a lot of different hobbies, but lately I've really been enjoying the Kingston area, going for a lot of hikes and doing some bird watching, that sort of thing lately.
Nice, man. Where have you been going for bird watching?
I found a really nice conservation area called Gould Lake that I've really been enjoying.
Yeah.
It's very neat. Very neat. Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful up there. Uchi, have you been up to that area yet?
No, I'm yet to explore.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's some really nice parks in the area. Like I have a pass to the Ontario parks, and you only get up to Frontenac Park occasionally. Just it's a beautiful time, especially this time of year. Oh man, it's absolutely gorgeous. So
probably I'm gonna explore that during the reading week.
Hopefully. Oh yeah, it'll be amazing during that time. So myself personally, like I'm always listening to podcasts and listening to music, especially when I'm going on a hike. And like for you, like what's your favorite genre of music or a favorite artist you like to listen to?
Well, I like a bit of everything. I have a pretty big range of music I listen to, anything from bluegrass to punk to even just new music, alternative music, that sort of thing. A bit of everything.
Right on, man. What's like a favorite artist? Like what's
favorite artist
that, like you kind of constantly have on shuffle?
Oh, that's hard to say. A little bit of everything. A little bit. I love everything.
Yeah. As long as it's good, right? That's the important part.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that. And so, sorry, Uchi?
Yeah, I was saying that he loves everything like easy flow. I mean,
yeah, this is one of we've kind of not gotten to talk a couple times, and just I love the positivity. The wide range of images is perfect, man. Yeah. So the Wind Turbine Technician program, like why are you taking that? Like what drew you to that program?
Well, I thought it would be really interesting. It's kind of funny. What actually got me into that program, what really got me interested in it, is I was walking on a property going for a hike around the Owen Sound, somewhere in Grey County, and I saw a wind turbine, and it was making this really loud, weird noise, kind of a squealing noise, kind of banging noise. And I was thinking, what in the world is going on with that, right? I was really curious, and I started having a chat with my dad about it. He's an industrial electrician, and it's and we were kind of troubleshooting what could have been, just kind of thinking about it. And we started getting on the conversation of, I wonder what kind of people like to work on those, what kind of people become wind turbine technicians. And we were thinking, man, it must be in really high demand. And I looked it up, and it really is. And I found the course at St. Lawrence while Googling it, really. And I thought, that looks really interesting. At the time, I was really trying to decide what I wanted to do with my life. I thought that might be a way to go. It's the future, right?
Awesome. Like your curiosity drove you to study wind turbine. For me, like my first time of seeing a wind turbine is when I came to Canada. Yeah. So I went to Wolf Island, and I got to see a couple of wind turbines. Yeah. So really gigantic things. I've never really seen one.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
Not at a close range. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Wolf Island looks beautiful. I've never been over there myself, but I mean to go sometime.
Sure, you will. So I just wanted to also ask you, what does your role entail as a CRO?
As a CRO, okay, so the role as a CRO entails basically organizing the board of directors election and finding candidates and keeping them in the loop and letting them know what they need to get done to run, as well as implementing the election process. It's a pretty big role, but I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So why did you apply for this role, and what's what surprised you about this role?
Well, why I applied for this role is I actually saw it come up in my email. When I saw it, I knew it was the thing just for me. It's I've always been interested in politics. I've always, watched Parliament question period. I've always loved the process, right? And when I saw the job posting, I thought, oh my goodness, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for me. It looks wonderful. And I've never done anything like this before, but I just applied anyways, just to see what would happen. I wasn't sure if I get it or not. And I was so excited when I found out I got it. I've always wanted to experience something politically related somehow. And I've never been interested in running as a candidate myself. It's just not my thing for my personality, really. But the thought of helping people through the process really excited me. So that's why I applied. And so that's what really interests me about it. And I'm looking forward to working with everybody and helping people out.
So again, for the listeners out there, I was one of the people that was actually on the hiring committee that brought Hiron on.
Yeah.
And I remember when you were going through the interview, you were talking about engagement a lot. And I thought that was a really interesting word because that's come up multiple times in our conversations recently. Like, why is engagement in the political process so important to you? Like, why is that such a big thing? It's
very important because the board of directors for the Student Association, they represent the student population, right? They're the voice of the students. It's right in the phrase. And engagement is important because students need to feel that they're belonging to their school community, right? They need to feel like they have a voice, and they need to feel like they can have a say in the way things go, right? I think it's very important for the school community, for everybody to be engaged, to take part in these sort of events. And this election is very important for that reason. It's a student's opportunity to elect their own representatives, to have a say for them, right?
I couldn't agree with you more, man.
Yeah.
It's absolutely.
Yep.
So Karen, can you tell us briefly about the process, like how to apply for the board of directors?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing you need to do if you're interested is I would encourage everybody to review the election protocol agreement, otherwise known as the election package. Just go over it, read through it, see what the requirements are, and just really try to determine if it's something you might be interested in. If it is, that's great. So what you need to do next is you need to collect 10 student nominations and 2 faculty endorsements. So that's quite simple. So you can either pick up a paper copy of the election protocol agreement at the Student Association front desk, or I can send you a link to fill it out virtually. And if you get the paper copy, you get the signatures all on the page at the back of the copy. Or if you want to do it virtually, you can get the links to send out to your friends and to your teachers for those endorsements and nominations. Now, I must mention, to be eligible for this process, you do need to be a full-time fee-paying student here at St. Lawrence, and you cannot currently be an employee with the Student Association. And if you are and you want to run, you can do that, but you will need to take a leave of absence.
Can't double dip now.
Yeah. But I would encourage everybody who might have even the slightest interest just to check out the package and email me with any questions. My email is going to be right on the package, and I would love to be able to guide anybody who's interested through this process, or just provide more information if I can.
Now,
so when is the yeah?
I was going to say one thing when I was applying last year for this. If you are worried about getting the nominations, it's honestly it can be a little bit daunting just to kind of look at some of these things you have to do. But everyone, like, a lot of people in your classes. So, and most people are probably not going to have people in their class or even necessarily their program they're going to be applying. So just reach out to some of the people you know closer, and then maybe talk to one of your teachers and see if you can get some help that way. And there is a lot of ways where you can get your name out there and try to get the nomination package out there. So it's honestly not as daunting as it can look on first appearance. So just try to take those first steps and just reach out to a couple of people, and you'll be surprised to see how quickly it can grow. Just FYI.
Absolutely. It will be fun going and collecting those signatures. And that's why I really like having the paper copy available, because students can take them to class with them and they can just get all the signatures in one go and then it's done. Right? Yeah.
So how long do the candidates have to campaign for it? And if they get selected, then how will they get to know about it?
So after the campaign period, it's going to be the election day on the 18th and 19th. So after that, candidates will be informed on the 22nd of the results of the election.
Okay.
Sorry, you mean 18th of November and 19th of November, is it?
Yeah. Yes, 18th of November.
I also wanted to ask, so how can one get the package? I mean, most students are studying virtually. Is this package going to be sent out to them via email to apply?
Yeah, so you mean for the nomination package?
Yes, the nomination.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did send that out to the student body about a week ago, and I'll probably send it out once more this week so they
Okay.
can have that link again. Or they can just reach out to me. I have my email on posters. Maybe we can include the link with this podcast somehow, just to my email. And they can email me and I can send them all the documentation they'll need to fill out along with the nomination and endorsement links.
Okay, sure.
So how
Fantastic,
this,
man.
yeah. So how the campaign will look like? So the students who are, studying virtually, not in Kingston right now, how will they campaign?
Yeah, so they can still campaign, absolutely. The campaign period will start on the 8th, and they have all their social media available to them. They can campaign on social media. What I will ask is students send me an email just giving me an overview of what their campaign is going to look like, just so I can know and make sure everything's okay. It will require my approval just if they give me a brief description. But if they're studying virtually, they still have lots of options. They can reach out to all friends, post on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Let people know. That's a great way to campaign. Now, there is the option to put up posters as well. Even if they're studying virtually, they can drop by the campus. They'll be allowed to put up posters. I'll send them an email once they indicate to me their interest, letting them know where they're allowed to put the posters. That's a great way too, just a very visual way to get people's attention. Yeah, so those are some examples of how they can campaign, even if they're studying virtually right now.
So the most important question is, when is the deadline for the candidates to apply?
Yes, so the nomination period deadline is going to be the 29th of October. That's a Friday. Yeah, so if everybody gets in their election protocol agreement to me and all their nominations, they are going to require a police check as well from the Kingston area. That should be fairly recent. But if they get all those documents into me by the 29th, they will be eligible for their name to appear on the ballot on election day.
Absolutely. So I want to ask Brian some more questions since he's on the board of directors. I want to find out, is this a paid position or it's a volunteer position?
So basically, it's somewhere existing in between, right? Where you're volunteering, but there is an honorarium. So it's not like you're paid for your time directly, but there is there's something given to you for your time. We'll put it that way.
So what is the role of the board of directors?
So I think Karen already touched on this briefly, right? Like the board of directors, we're really acting kind of as a conduit between the executives that run the student association and provide all these amazing services to the students. But I also like taking the voice of them and giving it to the board, the directors, and vice versa, right? So we're acting as a conduit. And while we're not exactly involved in direct day-to-day running of the operations of the SA, we're providing insight on how best to achieve some policy decisions, how to kind of guide some of these things that are happening, and to ensure that the students are really heard in all decisions that are happening throughout the SA, which really does run a lot of these services on the campus. It's truly an impressive organization.
Thank you so much, Brian, for highlighting that. I mean, from what you just said now, it means that the board of directors represent the students and
Yes.
they advocate and have the interest of the students at heart at all times. That's the kind of information I got from you. And,
Absolutely.
I also wanted to know, like, how much time will someone require to be on the board? I mean, for a month, or yeah.
Yeah, that's
How
an
much
interesting
time do you
question.
have to spend? Yeah.
So with these incoming directors, first off, they're only going to be serving a partial year. So their term will run until the end of April. So there's that. It's not going to be a full year thing. So, and how much time a director will be, like how much time you have to put in per month, it directly pertains to the committees you serve on, as well as your role on the board. So myself, I'm the secretary of the board. So it's my job to make sure that everybody has the meeting minutes from the previous months, editing them, making sure everything's in the right order, making sure people have the proper documentation. So my role takes a little bit more time than the average director. And ahead of me is the chairperson, and that role takes a significant amount of time. Of course, so the secretary and the chairperson roles are taken, as well as the treasurer role. So the people that will be coming on would be directors, which still does take a little bit of time, but not nearly as much. Like honestly, a couple hours a month. Depending on how engaged you want to be and how much time you want to put into these things, 5 to 10 hours a month is more than enough.
Awesome, Brian, for highlighting that. So I'm gonna ask Kieran once more. How many board members are you looking for this time?
We're currently looking for 3 board members. There's 3
Oh,
vacancies.
so
Yeah.
it's going to be really competitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So my question to Karen will be like, who will be eligible to apply for this kind of post?
Yeah. So right now, those who will be eligible to apply are full-time fee-paying students who can provide a cleared background check, a police background check, as well as those who collect all the nominations and endorsements required. But everybody who's full-time fee-paying and not currently an employee of the Student Association can start the nomination process.
Okay, so do you require certain amount of GPA to apply for it?
Yes, so to be on the board of directors, you need a minimum GPA of 2.5.
Okay, so suppose I am in India right now and studying virtually. So am I eligible to apply for it? Studying from my home country, not in Canada.
There aren't any rules against running for this process while being out of the country, but I would highly recommend this opportunity to students who are in the Kingston area, because there's so many great things going on at the school that board of directors members should participate in person. There's all kinds of meetings, events, and you just won't get the full experience if you're away from the Kingston campus, unfortunately. But no, there aren't any rules against it.
Okay, so I think those who are looking for it would have the question, like, if they get this kind of post, that will they have to be present in person, or could they do it virtually?
So I'll answer that. All of our board meetings have been virtual so far, and I believe that is the plan to continue going forward, because we don't know what's happening and we want to make sure that we're remaining functional even in this digital environment. So we have been doing some things where I've been able to go on campus and take part, but all our board meetings are happening on Teams, and then you also have the option of being there if you so choose. So it is entirely possible to be able to be far away from Kingston and still take part in a lot of these things, as long as you can work within the timelines as the rest of the board members.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing, because people are not able to also get the opportunity to be part of it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, so what's the process of getting police clearance? And this police clearance, can I get it from, must it be from Kingston, or I can get it from my home country?
Yeah, so this is a question I get a lot. So I would highly recommend getting a Kingston area police check. And you can even get that online from your home country. You can get a Kingston area police check. So that's good. It should be quick to get, and a recent one is best.
Thank you for highlighting that, Kieran.
So, okay, I think, yeah.
I was going to say one thing I believe previously when I was applying, I'm not sure, kind of made me able to speak more of this. When I was applying, when we were applying, we had to have the receipt that we had at least applied for it by the deadline date. And I'm not sure if that is enough, or they have to have the full check, Hiram, or I remember for myself, again, personally, it was as long as we had the receipt in by the application deadline date, that kept our candidacy open. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, the receipt, that would be excellent. The receipt by the 29th is all I would ask, just for proof. Yeah.
Awesome. I just wanted to clear that, because sometimes it can take a little bit. So as long as you go and apply in the next week or so, then you'll be able to retain your eligibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was kind of wondering, for me to get a Kingston police clearance, do I need to pay some amount of money?
Yes, they usually do cost some money. They're usually inexpensive from what I believe. Would you have anything to add to that, Brian, with your experience?
It's around like $20 to $30.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to talk the exact specifics of how much the honorarium is, but that is more than covered by even your first month. So, you know, it's, if you're looking at in terms of a cost benefit analysis, the benefit is very much there, even just from the economic perspective, let alone the experience and the resume building and the relationship building and all the other things that come with it. Like, it truly is an amazing experience. And some of the people I've been able to meet so far and some of the things I've been able to take part in are just fantastic. So if you have any thoughts about this whatsoever, people, I would highly suggest you apply, because it is a really, really, really cool experience.
Thank you so much for highlighting that, Brian. I mean, it's an absolute pleasure that you are part of this podcast.
Yeah, I think, well, it was a very informative and engaging session, and I would again request Kyron to, give us some tips to the candidates who are looking for this, if he has.
Yeah, so I'll end it with this. I'll say that I would encourage anybody who has any interest, like Brian was saying, just to give it a go, just to try it out, see how many nominations you can get. It would be a fun experience to interact with the school community. And don't be intimidated by the process. I know it sounds scary. It's an election. A lot of people have never participated in anything like this before. But I would say just give it a go. If you're interested, give it a go. You have nothing to lose. Come to me with any questions you might have about it. I would be pleased to help anybody out with any questions they might have about this process. It's my job to make it easier for everybody. And if you're not interested in running yourself, I would encourage you to support your friends. Ask them if they might be interested. Vote for them. They would love your support. I believe every student should take part in this opportunity. I think this is a really good opportunity for all students to engage with the community, with the student community, that is, and have their say, right? That's what I would say to everybody who's listening, is just participate in one way or another. Find a way to participate that works for you.
Okay, thank you so much. So I would like to thank all our guests for coming here and speaking their ideas about it, and spending their time from their busy schedules. I know they are very busy. And please do like and follow us on our social media handles, that is Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And don't forget to cast your votes for it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Make sure you participate in the election process. And please follow us on Instagram, on Facebook at SA Voice Podcast, and listen to us on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcast at The Voice Podcast. Thank you, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye.